FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and today is September 23rd, 2019. Well, there's been a lot going on in the political arena and a lot going on in the financial or monetary arena. Let's talk first about what's happening in the financial sector. We've had this repo meltdown, lasted for 2-3 days. Now everything is back to normal, but I am suspicious. So you can call me a conspiracy theorist. You can call me a tinfoil hat wearer. You can call me whatever you like. But the fact of the matter is, the repo market is kind of the bedrock of the financial system. Now, there's a couple different types of repo contracts. So what it is a repurchase agreement whereby a bank will sell a security to, for instance, the Federal Reserve. That's where it started in 1917. And they'll sell it for 1 or 2 days and agree to buy it back. And they will effectively get a certain rate. It'll be higher than the rate than they can get otherwise, a couple basis points. But it's all about chasing yield in the financial sector. In addition, financial institutions that aren't government or Fed related will also execute repurchase agreements with one another. And it generally involves either AAA rated securities, or it will involve government-backed securities, treasuries in the United States. But repos take place all over. And pretty much it's risk-free. You get a couple more basis points. The bank that sells the repo pays a little bit less interest than they'd pay otherwise, and the bank receiving the security earns a little bit more. We're talking basis points, hundredths of a percentage point of interest. For you and I, man, that's nothing. But when you got 100 billion riding in the market nightly, think about it. 1% of 100 billion is a billion. That's annualized. And, 1 basis point is actually 10 million. You make 2-3 basis points, annualized return, risk-free has gone up $20-30 million on a billion, on 100 billion. So banks will leverage these and leverage them. And we saw it with MF Global. They actually use these securities and leverage them up. And, this couple of basis points winds up being 20 or 30 basis points. Hey, when you get to half a basis point, you're looking at $500 million a year annualized. That's if everything doesn't blow up. But things tend to blow up. One thing you have to realize, the bank that purchases the treasury security never or seldom ever actually takes possession. Rather, it goes into the custody account of the selling bank, because these are digital securities anyway. They don't really have a physical presence. Maybe they're registered at the depository trust company in New York City, but basically they have no real physical existence. So when you see that all of a sudden the rates go from 2.5% to 10% overnight, alarm bells have to go off. This is a riskless transaction and should be at rates very near government securities. Originally, the rate was 2.25%, and then it shot up to 10%. And even the next day, it was at 5%, and it gyrated. So what it tells me is there's a bank out there, a major bank, that is in trouble, that either they had their securities, they agreed to repurchase them and couldn't, in which case this could be, if it's a large bank, it could really disrupt the market, or they actually had securities in their custody account but they were pledged to multiple purchasers. Think about it. That's kind of like the producers. Our whole economy is the producer economy, where you sell 1,000% of 100% and you keep selling it over and over again. And you hope that eventually everything blows up so you don't have to pay it back and you don't wind up in jail like Zero Mostel and Phil Silvers did. Or was it? Nope, I take it back. It was Gene Wilder. They wound up in jail. You know, it was kind of a really funny concept, but in a large measure, that's what today's modern financial system is all about. So that's one thing. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is this so-called whistleblower, and Trump is in a heap of trouble. They've got him now. He's going to be impeached. Nancy Pelosi's hot on his trail. Hey, who knows? Maybe they'll bring back Inspector, or rather Director Clouseau Mueller, to really go after him and really put the fear of God into Trump. Here, let me tell you my perception of it. So we know that Trump likes to punk these people. We know that he is playing 3D chess, even though he's too stupid, according to left, to even know what a chessboard is, because he just accumulated a multi-billion-dollar empire just because he was lucky. His parents' father's money, and New York real estate never goes down, all this stuff. And he's got tens of thousands of people working for him because he's so stupid, right? Yeah, like, let me tell you the way I see this. And like I said, if you remember, about almost 20 years ago now, I did work for Trump, a couple of minor, very unimportant legal issues dealing with, some of his companies. Got to know him, spent a few hours with him. He's no dummy. That much I can tell you. My biggest fear from him being president was that he was going to surround himself with yes men, and that the yes men would have the way with him. But in fact, we've seen that this is exactly the opposite of the case. He's really fired a bunch of people who don't agree with him. So maybe he's looking for yes men. I'm available. I can say yes better than just about anybody out there. I am so accommodating. I'll kiss the Donald's butt. I am really good at saying yes, Donald. Yes, Donald, whatever you want. Oh, let's nuke Iran. Yes, Donald, you're right. Let's shut down the government for a few months. No one will know the difference, hopefully. Yes, Donald. No, but seriously. So let's look at this whole whistleblower thing. So in my opinion, the whistleblower is actually an agent of Trump working on his behalf, because they've been trying to get this story out about corrupt Joe Biden. His son works on, he's a director of a gas company in the Ukraine that he's never had any oil and gas O&G experience. He knows nothing about business. He does know about vaporous substances because he's a meth head and a crack head, and he's been in rehab, or he should have been there. All these things, let's face it. But the media, in its finite wisdom, thinks it's not a story because they're just covering for Biden. Because after all, he is the front runner, and this is his son, and he cut these deals with the Ukraine and with China. How do you go to China and get $1.5 billion injected in your hedge fund just for saying hi and making the right intros? No, there's quid pro quos. We know that Biden crushed the investigation, or had the prosecutor who was investigating Hunter, had him fired. Hunter is a joke of a person. He's a stiff, like Trump said. So when we look at this, then assume that this person with the whistleblower, who never heard anything, he didn't have firsthand knowledge, he heard it through the grapevine. Great song, by the way. Well, this guy heard it through the grapevine, and now they're about to lose their mind because nobody knows exactly what he heard. The complaint is classified. Everything is classified, and nobody can find out anything, right?
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Otis Gold Corp is a gold development and exploration company with quality projects in the pro-mining state of Idaho. Otis's flagship Kilgore project has a resource of 961,000 gold ounces, and its recently published preliminary economic assessment demonstrated an impressive post-tax IRR of 53% at $1,500 gold. In addition to the significant expansion potential at Kilgore, Otis is exploring its highly prospective Oakley project. This Carlin-type gold deposit already has an inferred resource, and previous near-surface drilling intersected 123 meters of 0.69 grams per ton gold. Otis Gold Corp trades in New York under the ticker OGLDF and in Toronto under the ticker OOO. That's triple O. To learn more, go to otisgold.com. That's otisgold.com.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
So he actually, by getting this whistleblower in there to blow the whistle, he actually blew the whistle on Biden. But nobody realizes that. And every time you hear the story, it's like, he made these baseless charges against Joe Biden. Let me tell you, they're not baseless. Joe Biden has been a creature of the swamp for 40 plus years. His family has been raking it in sweetheart deals, everything else. And this was just another one of those deals, corrupt as hell. And so what Trump has done is what's called the Wrapup smear with a Trojan horse. Okay, Nancy Pelosi bragged about the Wrapup smear, which is where you get a reporter to plant a story about a political adversary. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not. Most times it's not. And then the story propagates because you push it throughout the media. And then you, as his enemy, his adversary, start mentioning the stories. You don't know if they're true or not. If true, this could be really bad. And before you know it, it's a smear. The guy's out. Well, Trump reversed it. And he used a Trojan horse because he used a wrap-up smear, getting the story propagated in the media. All right. It's also a canary trap because 2 days after the complaint's filed and it goes to Congress, Adam Schiff is out there leaking it because there was a leak to the press 2 days after the complaint. So he exposes leakers in his administration, which could well be part of the intent of it. And it's a Trojan horse because they think they've got the grounds to impeach the Donald. But what they really got is a story about Joe Biden that all the mainstream media refused to cover. They wouldn't cover it. And then, boom, he's dead. He's dead man walking, Joe Biden. He's finished now. Trump did it. So who's your candidate now, Democrats? All of them are pathetic. I was on Fox News, Fox and Friends, and I said, honestly, and this is when there were 24 candidates out there, none of these candidates are qualified to wash the toilets in Trump Tower. These people are not builders. They don't know how to build a business. They don't know how to create wealth. Trump is a wealth creator. Now, yes, he used debt. He used it excessively. Sometimes he used it recklessly, but other times he used it really wisely. In the rich dad, poor dad definition of debt, all right, debt is basically, there's good debt, there's bad debt. Bad debt is I'll go borrow $1,000 to buy a flat screen TV and then finance it. I'll buy this new car that I can't afford. I'll lease it for outrageous payments that I can't afford, and I'll be cool because I got this car. Or that's bad debt. Good debt is when you use it to purchase an asset that will create cash flow. Now, in Donald's earlier career, he bought airlines, casinos. When they all went south, he's got some other brands that work. I don't know about Trump water. I haven't seen it. The only Trump water I've seen is in his hotel coming out of the faucet. But the fact is, the man is a genius with real estate. He bought the Doral resort, 800 acres in Doral, Florida. It used to be called like South Miami or something. But now it's turned into a multi-billion-dollar property. Same with the Trump International in D.C. I was there for the grand opening. I didn't stay there. It's too expensive. I didn't want to spend $500. I mean, a damn Danish was $13 and a cup of coffee was $8. I mean, I spent like $25 waiting for the Donald to show up. I couldn't believe I was that dumb. I should have brought a takeout from a certain undisclosed liberal coffee shop, and I should have just brought Danish with me. But hey, what can I tell you? I had no idea it was going to be that much of a ripoff. But in any event, he's created wealth. None of these politicians running, except for Yang, have ever created wealth. They've just been wealth consumers, wealth destroyers, because that's what government is. Serving in government means destroying wealth, because the government produces nothing, and whatever it gets, it has to take from other people, and you have a crowding out effect. What they take cannot be further invested, reinvested, and build wealth. So when you have a government collectively that takes half of everything you make, then you know that something is amiss, and these people are products of that. Bernie, the commie bastard, Bernie, like, he's got 3 houses, he's taking private planes, but according to the guy from Bernie or Bust, he's really, really wants to, he buys carbon offsets. Isn't that just wonderful? Anyway, that is it for now. This has been another Triple Lutz Report. Kerry Lutz signing off.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.